Kendall's rolling out to plant soybeans. Greg is drilling soybeans. Today, if everything goes well, will be our last day of soybeans. And I am getting ready to fertilize the corn. We're using our easy drops again. Got them on, and then I came up here for the fertilizer. It's gonna be a busy day.
Meet the Peterson family. Our dad, the three Peterson brothers, and our families farm together in central Kansas. Our family farm started in 1882 and has been raising cattle and crops ever since. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a like and a comment if you enjoy the video. One of our biggest fields, 240 some acres, which I think that's got a little overlap to it. Now we've got our biggest field out of the way. Kendall has been planting a field at the same time as this one, and once he's done with that one, we have all of our full season soybeans in, which is great. And then all we'll have left is full season milo, and then of course we'll switch to double crop after wheat harvest, or during wheat harvest. But feels good to have almost all the full season crops in. The corn and beans look great, and we're making really good progress on beans and milo.
Here's our easy drops installed. I've filmed installing them a few different times, so you guys can go check those out if you want to know more about it. But you can install them in like an hour or less when you have all the hardware on. Now we'll go get the corn fertilized and get back on to spraying. Easy drops going to work, feeding the corn. Laying it right next to it. One of my first meals in the field, about to happen. I'm swathing. Here you go. Thanks. This waterway has a little bit of road to it. So I'll make the first pass kind of on the road. Not our thickest waterway, but still makes good hay, decent hay. So here's my wheat field. It's looking pretty rough from the hail. It looks about as thin as any wheat that I've looked at too closely. And so I don't have my expectations super high for it. The hail killed that plant. It took the yield out of the top of that plant. Curled this one over to where it couldn't fill. Just a lot of damage. We'll see what it yields, but this is probably going to be disappointing field. This and a couple other hailed fields that got hit the worst. Rotationally, there's going to be, this field was supposed to go to wheat
second year wheat. It's gonna be such short stubble that the weeds are really gonna come through it. And with all this May and June moisture we've had, late May and early June moisture we've had, I might double crop part of it. I could still go back to wheat if I did a forage or something, but I just don't know that I want to spray this short stubble all summer and go back to second year wheat and try to get a return on that when there's some leftover nitrogen and plenty of moisture out here to grow something in the summer. There's some volunteer beans growing in the wheat. That's what was here last year. Here we've got some brome as tall as the tires. This will make a windrow. Well, it's already almost 8 and I haven't even started chores yet, and I got those new cattle to do chores for, so I really need to get this wrapped up because my mom is watching our kids because my wife's at a meeting at church. So, update, I got my kids to bed. I got the first load fed out, and then I fed hay to the new cattle. I think my kids are asleep, and my mom's in there with them. So I just need to load and feed this last load of 7,600 pounds, and then I'll be in for the night. So while they are all lined up eating, we're gonna work these ones that have been here since last week. I'll work them next day. Evan's helping me work these 40 some, and we'll get them kicked out. They're eating pretty good, hay and ration. They're eating like 14 pounds and 10 or 12 pounds. So I unhooked the pot. Evan's gonna clean that truck off, power wash it, and sweep out the cab. I am going to unhook the swather, hook this on the baler. Probably won't need it for like 2 days, but that way it'll be ready. Then I've got to hook on the other tractor to the grain cart back there in the corner, which means move probably both of these. Just trying to get everything ready because we have one field where it's too wet to plant. So the planter's not moving, the drill is moving, but when it's time to move, everything's gonna be ready to go, wheat and that planter. And the drill should be almost caught up by the time we start harvesting wheat. The drill should be caught up. Just gotta lower this down now. Hoses are tucked away. Set the hoses in pairs. You see the blues match, reds match, makes it easier to hook back on. Once again, all of our stuff is out working, not much in here. Does anyone else have mislabeled buckets? It doesn't look like double crop Milo. It's about to smell terrible in this little shed starting up this. Well, I'm not even trying to get which decade. I think this is a 90s and this is a late 70s. Trucks, and they really make it smell like diesel exhaust. So they will have a buffet of pig weeds here for a couple days, and I'll give them corn to keep the energy going in there. This one got a limp, so I'm gonna feed it corn and it will be hamburger in a while. Some people feed cows where they can eat on both sides of the bunk, but boy, this drives me nuts. They're in my way when they're grazing these weeds. I gotta open and close a gate to get in there and then hope they get out of my way. They just want their feed. I am trading Greg off. I've driven this rig, but I haven't drilled with it yet. Craig's been doing a lot of drilling. So there's one wet spot that we have. Oh, there's a few terrace troughs in the field over there that'll be a little damp. I'm hoping to get this stretch and then the other side of the trees still done tonight. And then we'll do that spot with the power poles tomorrow in the daylight. Because I don't really want to do that part in the dark. That's nice. The wrong brothers are planting Nathan's field, but we're getting it done. Here we go. That wheat is looking fairly ripe. The heads are curling. I think once we get a combine in the field, we're gonna find some ripe wheat. We gotta finish some planting first. I started heading down the driveway and I realized I should not go to that field without a full tank, 6 miles away. So I can't remember if it's 110 or 130, but that's how many acres I got, and I gotta drive away, so I don't wanna be out of fuel. We are putting a little bit of fertilizer on with these beans. You don't usually do that, but this was after we had wheat. I think 60 bushel wheat here and 75 bushel double crop Milo from what I remember. And so this field produced a lot last year, and some of the Milo had fallen down, so we had to go pretty low to the ground. Anyway, a lot of residue, but a lot of it's still breaking down. So we're putting a little bit of fertilizer. It's a different blend than what we use on starter fertilizer for Milo or corn. So we got it in the smaller tank. And we don't have to pull the cart because we're only running 7.5 to 8 gallons an acre. But it's pumping up there. The neighbors are chopping silage. It must be oat silage. So there was a truck going that way. There's the dust from that truck. They're hauling it to right here. I can see the push tractor. That gives me a little entertainment.
So I didn't get a VR map set up this year. So I just have my irrigated rate and my dry land rate. In this low spot, it's just a little more yellow, so I'm just doing a manual, I'm just doing it with my eyeballs. So I bumped up the rate 10 pounds where it was a little yellow. There was probably some denitrification where the water sits when we had all that heavy rain. So I added a little. So that's why it's nice to put on nitrogen later, because now we're much less likely to get wet and lose nitrogen. And that's kind of the highest yielding spot probably. We don't want to lose nitrogen there, so that's what we're out here doing. It's different running the sprayer at 5 miles an hour. It's like you're planting, but you're still doing 100 feet at a time, so I can actually trust my auto steer to keep it between the rows going this slow. It feels a little slow, but I've heard stories of my uncle. They had a bunch of flood irrigated ground when he was a kid, and they would ridge it for flood irrigation and put nitrogen on at the same time, but they would just do, I don't know if it was like 6 rows or 8 rows at a time. It's a lot better than that. Also, it's convenient that our fields that are irrigated and most likely to be picked corn, which is when I like to do this later nitrogen, they're the flattest fields. You know, that's the best soil. This is much easier to do on flat fields than like with terraces, trying to keep it the right height. It still works. I mean, there's quite a bit of flexibility in these easy drops, but it's just not very fun. And also then the auto steer doesn't stay between the rows as much, and so you're trying to steer and run, and so that's kind of a nightmare. I'm doing like one field that has terraces, and it's only like 5 acres of the field, and most of them are terraces that I'll be straight on for. We got some wheat harvest action going on over there. Oh boy, making me nervous. This is over where it waited too long to rain, so the wheat is a little farther ahead. Greg has some wheat over here that might be ready, but we're not ready, so maybe in a couple days. I had to employ an extra hose to get across this wide ditch. See how this works. We're doing Greg's new irrigated circle for the first time.
Enjoying a nice sunrise here. It's right on that neighbor's silo. Sunset. I always call sunrises sunsets, and now I did it the other way. I waited on the seed to come in, and I filled the fertilizer, took that trailer back. It delivered seed to right here. I went and watched both my daughters play on the same t-ball team. It's 3 and 4 year olds. And got to watch that, eat supper, and then came back, and I'm gonna finish here as it gets dark. It's a beautiful night. I'm not a big baseball guy, but it was a nice night to be at the diamond. I don't know the baseball lingo, t-ball lingo. Our dad didn't really encourage us to play baseball because he couldn't attend our games. So we all like basketball. And then, you know, it could be the winter and he could feed cattle when it was still daylight and then come to our games and it was dark. Summer, you know, you miss out on daylight when you go to your kids' activities. But anyway, it is a fun activity to try t-ball. And Blair's kind of at the older age. A 4-year-old is better at t-ball than a 3-year-old. That's the thing. So after all this rain, this spot is a low spot. It was a low spot even when we had the double crop Milo on it last year. So it's not planted to a waterway, but it doesn't really drain. There's the creek over there, but this here actually drains to the away from the creek, and so the water just never quite makes it to the creek. I'm probably going to be able to plant in there a little ways, but then up here there's some water standing. So I'm glad that I'm getting to this spot before it's all the way dark so that I can see better to not get stuck and see how aggressive to be. There is not 16 more rows of space, so this next pass will be my decision pass on. There's really only like enough space for about 4 rows here on the south end, and then I'll be able to plant the whole 16 rows by the time I get to the north. Second night in a row going past 10 o'clock, but I have taken some breaks through each day. Gonna pay off that we get this stuff done before wheat starts. It's all hands on deck for wheat harvest. These heifers are eating pretty well. They're up eating, I think it'll be 18 pounds of ration today. They're done with hay. I still give them a bucket of pellets. These ones are at 14. I'm still giving them hay, but I think I'm gonna put them both pens together this afternoon. Then it'll just be one amount of feeding. They can help clean the feed up. Been pleased with how they've started. I don't think I will buy any more in the coming week because now I've got these ones done with hay, which takes the most amount of time. Then you just gotta watch them and make sure they're all eating enough ration. There's one neighbor over there planting. I just got rain on the windshield, and so I got it cleaned off. I really hope it doesn't rain. I have hay down and Milo to plant. Boy, that's blurry.
So yesterday we had some breakdowns and some sidetracks. I'm still not done dropping nitrogen on the corn, but you can see it's a foggy morning this morning, lots of dew. So this will already be taking the nitrogen I have got done down into the ground. We also have little chances of showers, but hopefully today goes a little better than yesterday. Need to get the brome all the way put up. Kendall got some of it done. We're gonna try to get this nitrogen done. Then we'll just have Milo planting and wheat harvest. With how foggy it is this morning, I don't know that the wheat's gonna be ready till 1 or 2 or something. Not that we've even tried yet. So still got some things to check off. Here's for a better day. Yesterday started good. It just didn't finish very good, so.
I'm using a hopper, you gotta check. Make sure it's not open for the first dump of grain. It's a good thing I checked, so I gotta close them.
Kendall just got done baling some waterways with the M7 and baler, and we are working on getting the combines ready to go here.
I've spent a lot of money recently fueling stuff up. I just constantly feel like I'm just topping stuff off to go to fields. Bill's not as much as whenever it's all the way empty, but you also, there's no point in being out of fuel and running too close. Kicking out hay, looking at corn that's gonna be made for silage, and the neighbor's cows grazing on the hill. That's Kansas right there. I'm gonna go get some fertilizer. Glad to have him.
There goes the combine. Bye, combine.
All right, we got 10.6% moisture. It's go time. So we're gonna be starting out with our poorest wheat first. That's what got ripe first. This wheat died, so it ripened faster because it died earlier. So all this rain we've gotten recently, it was too late for this wheat. This is most likely going to be below 30, maybe below 20 bushel to the acre, which is, you know, half of what we'd like to see. I think as we work our way through wheat harvest, we'll run into better and better wheat. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what I expected for some of these fields. That these are the fields by Lindsberg that didn't get the rains that they got out at the home place. Even though there was hail out at the home place, this field didn't get hailed on as much. But the kernels in the bin are like the tiniest. They're like the tiniest wheat kernels I've ever seen. So that's what you just rain makes grain, and no rain makes less grain.
I tell you what, Kansas farmers are busy. There is alfalfa on the ground. There is waterway hay on the ground, brome hay of all kinds. We've got sprayers out in the fields, combines in the fields. It is just, everything's going on. One of our crop input suppliers who delivers nitrogen and other blends out, they were waiting on semis to bring them fertilizer so they could distribute it out to the farmers who were trying to plant. And it is just all hands on deck. Everybody's working as fast as they can everywhere. There's a guy growing oats. We don't see that super often. These guys are busy. Busy, busy. That's Kansas for you.
First meal in the field of Harvest 2025. What'd you make, Brogano?
Cheeseburger sliders.
Cheeseburger sliders.
Cherries and celery and carrots and a s'mores cookie bar.
Yummy. Steele, can you say yummy? Can you say yummy?
Yummy!
I get to be here for the last down and back.
Say combine. Going to the next field. Think this combine could make it straight up to the top of Coronado Heights? Probably not. Brighton, what are we cutting? Wheat. Steele, what are we driving?
What is this?
Combine?
A combine!
Combine!
Combine. Hope you guys enjoyed that drone video. We're about half done with the second field. Beautiful sunset. Had to get the drone up for that. This field is yielding better than the last one, but not by a whole lot, a little bit. So I'm happy that it's doing better than the last one. My family rode with me for a while, so that was kind of chaotic. And then I was flying the drone while I was driving the combine. That was kind of chaotic. I'm technically still filming for you guys, but after I'm done with this, I can finally relax and just enjoy the evening. But it's been a good first day. Every once in a while they sync up, but then they go to alternating.
Well, Nathan's planting on that field somewhere. I can't see him. I'm almost going to make it back to start chores, but it's going to be dark before I really start.
Well, maybe Greg and Kendall have done a better job vlogging today than I have, but I started the day easy dropping still. I was hoping that would take 2 days max. This morning I had like 50 acres left to go. Say hi.
Hi. Hi, Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg. Yeah, he'll see this first. Maybe you'll see this on YouTube. You like watching us on YouTube, don't you?
Yeah.
We were waiting on fertilizer for the Milo, so we didn't get the planter going till this evening. So we're finally planting Milo. But in the middle of the day, we got the combine over to Greg's, where the wheat was the driest, got the least rain. So we started cutting wheat over there. They've cut almost 100 acres, I think. It took us a while to get the combines going too. You know, you always find some things the first day. We're now planting Milo, like 350 acres to put in. But some of it's for our uncle, and he'll probably run the planter for that. So this is actually where we chopped wheat. This is where we started just because it was close. So we chopped this wheat, and then it's rained like 7 inches on this field since we chopped. So basically this field's in the same position as all the full season Milo. We're basically treating it as full season Milo.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Check out our music videos linked in the description. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and explore our website, www.petersonfarmbrothers.com. See you guys next time.